back for a new season of Fantasy Premier League and the FPL Crypto 6 Picks contest. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. We'll be running a game week by game week contest on YouTube where you get to enter and predict the top point scoring Fantasy Premier League players across 6 unique categories. This season there will be a weekly cryptocurrency prize for the contest winner, so more on that a little later. Returning viewers and subscribers, I'm delighted to present to you our new layout and picks categories for this introductory video to the new FPL season. Every game week we'll be choosing a standout player option in each category and backing it all up with stats, fixture analysis and some of my very own opinions. When we finally get to game week 1, you'll be able to enter your own 6 picks through the comment section of YouTube and compete with me for the weekly prize. Let's get stuck in and just have a look at the new premium category first. So there's 6 categories in total. They all have different criteria narrowing who you can choose from the FPL database. So you're choosing 6 players in total. The first category is premium pick. So for premium pick, the price for a goalkeeper and defender is 5.5 or more, and the price for a midfielder or forward is 8.0 or more. You're limited to 1 player pick per club team this season, so you can't choose the same player twice or more than 1 player from Liverpool example. So for the premium pick, I'm going to do like a pre-season draft version of who I'm considering for the first few game weeks of the season. Who are the standout pick options in each category section. So for premium pick, I've done a short list of 3 players. Those 3 players are Andy Robertson at 7 million, Pierre-Emerick Laporte at 6.5 million, and Jamie Vardy at 9 million. Robertson, as you know, smashed it last season with 213 points, top scoring defender ever in a single FPL season. Laporte, City with the second best defence, he had 18 clean sheets and he's less prone to rotation in that side. And then Jamie Vardy at 9 million, Brendan Rodgers came in at the butt end of last season and Vardy kind of flourished under him a little bit. He didn't really got caught up a little bit on Club Pluyel and his mentality. So I'm going to actually just punt for my pick. Very early, I know, no preseason fixtures really have played out yet, so we don't really know how they're going to gel together, but I'm going to go for Vardy as my pre-pick for game weeks 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So like Vardy, goals and assists combined in the last 3 FPL seasons, he's been a consistent force. He had 21 goals and assists in 2016-17. He followed that up the next season with 22 and then last season with 23. He's on penalties too, so with the VAR effect, maybe not, he'll get more opportunities to score from the spot, but he's very much a focal point in attack. And now with all these transfers coming in, you've got Ayoze Perez, Yuri Tielemans and James Maddison in behind. They're creative forces. You know, he could get more opportunities going forward in FPL this season. He's my early season, very, let me stress that, very early days yet before we lock in anything on the FPL front. Moving on to differential pick. So for this category, the main criteria is that obviously you can't choose the same player again, but the ownership has to be under 10% team selected by. Let's take this one with a pinch of salt right now, because realize there's only 800,000 or so players that have registered to play again this season, and that figure is going to increase to around 6 million as the weeks go on. So this figure is going to change. This is just loosely what people are thinking in terms of who they want in their sides early on. And I'm going to put it together a short list of 3 players under 10% at this moment in time. They are David Brooks of Bournemouth at 6% or so, Seamus Coleman at 5.5 million, and Olivier Giroud, who's sitting in and around 4%. Bournemouth have great fixtures to start off the season. That's why Brooks is in there. He got 7 goals and 6 assists last season. He's less popular due to the rise of Fraser at 7.5, Wilson at 8. So maybe a bargain to be had there at 1 million less than Ryan Fraser. Seamus Coleman's an interesting one. Everton have to pick of the opening fixtures. You could save 0.5 million on his teammate Digne, who is highly owned right now. So Coleman's sitting under that 10% threshold. He's the one to consider, and he does have that attacking threat. He's been proven over the years in FPL to do well when he goes forward. Olivier Giroud. Now, I'm just going to have to say that, like, I'm not a huge fan of Chelsea assets right now, but Giroud is the only FPL classified forward that has been entered into the game. I know Batshuayi and the likes of, what's the other guy's name, Tammy Abraham, they're already in the pipeline to be added to the game. But at the moment, at 7 million, Giroud offers a bit of value. He might start up front come the start of the season for Chelsea. So it's a wait and see what Lampard's team pre-season will be telling. So with that in mind, I've put forward David Brooks as my pre-season draft pick. At the moment, I just really like the look of Bournemouth's opening fixtures, and while their form last season was quite erratic, unpredictable, they always played attacking football. They had 56 goals last season. That's the 7th highest in the league. So expecting Brooks to keep pace and get more minutes this season. Plus, you can save $1 million on Fraser. Fraser's probably a better, more premium pick, but you know, Brooks is also an option for the start of the season. Next one is the budget defense pick. So this is a new category for this season. And the criteria for this one, the price of a goalkeeper has to be less than 5.5, or if you go for a defender, the price also has to be less than 5.5 million. The limit is there as it stands in every pick, 1 player pick per club team. So I picked 4.5 million defensive assets, 2 goalkeepers, 1 defender. Lewis Dunk at 4.5 million for Brighton, Matt Ryan at 4.5 for Brighton, also the goalkeeper, and then Nick Pope, Burnley goalkeeper, coming in at 4.5 million in FPL this year. With Dunk and Ryan, Brighton have great early fixtures. They play West Ham, Southampton, and Burnley at home in the first 5. Okay, they got a new manager in Graham Potter, so a little bit don't know exactly how that's going to pan out early days. Hopefully they settle, but I think they represent good value for those opening 5 fixtures, both of them. And Lewis Dunk can pop up with the odd goal from set pieces too. Ryan could pick you up some save points and has the maybe slender chance of a clean sheet and getting those clean sheet points, but the chance is definitely more higher chance of it happening in the opening game weeks, put it that way. I'm going to punt with Nick Pope at 4.5 million. He's one of those another one of those budget keeper options this year, and it looks increasingly more likely that he'll be number 1 at Burnley with Tom Heaton's pending transfer to Aston Villa. As again, Brighton are in a transitionary period with the new manager coming in, so I'm going to go with a Burnley option. Because Sean Dyche's men, they started slow last year with Europa League football as a distraction and didn't have much squad depth, but I reckon they'll be tighter at the back come the start of this season, and they have respectable opening fixtures too. So maybe not as a set and forget keeper, Nick Pope, but you could rotate him with another 4.5, whatever your preference is there going forward. Moving on now to I should first mention about our mini league. So our mini league started open for registration as of 2 weeks ago, and you can join. You'll see at the very bottom of the screen there's a code CUUY35. It's the FPL Crypto 6 Picks Mini League. All welcome, free entry, and there is a prize for the winner. The winner at the end of the season gets 1 Litecoin or a Premier League jersey of the winner's choosing. Decent prizes, so no excuse. Get in there and join in on the fun. Budget Offence Pick is the next category. So this category is just segmenting the budget pick of last year into positions. With the budget offense pick, you can choose a midfielder or a forward. They both need to be less than 8.0. So if you go for a midfielder, less than 8, forward less than 8. This is my shortlist, my early season shortlist of players to do well in the opening game weeks. Madison at 7 million. He's owned by around 18% so far. Josh King at 6.5 million, and an interesting one in Norwood, who's on 5. He's 5 million in FPL, and he's a Sheffield United midfielder, creative one at that. For Madison, he's got 7 goals and 7 assists in his breakthrough FPL season last year, so it's 137 FPL points. All the talk surrounding Leicester's new signings, he's kind of falling out of the mentions a bit. But he is like the dead ball specialist, and he's got a bolstered squad behind him now, so could upstage the rest of the new guys in town, the new foxes in town. I like Josh King as a budget offence option at 6.5 million. Again, the Norwegian international He's a starter in that team. He takes the penalties, which could be a real kind of plus early days with VAR settling into the league. And he's got tasty openers with an attacking intended team, so to speak. Norwood at 2% ownership, 5 million. He's off the radar, and that's fine. A lot of these promoted clubs, they need time for people to work out which assets are going to be value for money and which ones are just no-go areas. And there's a few pro players I'm looking at, and he's one of them. In terms of chances created last season in the championship, he was top 3. He had 98 chances completed in total. Takes free kicks, takes the odd penalty. I think he shares them with Billy Sharp, and he had 3 goals and 9 assists in total last year. Saying that, I'm not going to pick him as my pre-season standout pick. I'm going to go with James Maddison ahead of Norwood as my early pick. Prefer to pick a more proven player. His price was hiked to 7 million from 6.5 million, which is fair enough on last season. So James Maddison, Leicester are going to be interesting in pre-season. We all have to keep an eye out on how they perform, how they set up shape with all these new signings trying to work their way into Brendan Rodgers' plans. Leicester's opening fixtures aren't amazing, but I think a lot of people are going to invest in their assets this year. Time will tell. Let's see. James Maddison is my pick. Moving on to the next category, we've got gut feeling picks. So this is a new one also. There's no restrictions on this one, so to speak. You can just choose whoever you feel is going to do well, and then you'll score the FPL points for that pick. The only limitation is the 1 player pick per club team. So I've put together 3 players that I'm looking at. One is Gylfi Sigurdsson at 8 million for Everton, Jack Grealish at 6 million for Aston Villa, and then Bernardo Silva, who's priced quite nicely at 8 million. Siggy has set pieces and penalties to his name. He's a subdued yet consistent season player for FPL. Seems to do it every year. 13 goals and 6 assists last year. Kind of flew under the radar as well. I don't know why. He's for his price point, and so to say, and for Everton's easier fixture run at the start, I feel like he should be in most team drafts. Just a well-priced, proven player who's consistent year on year. Grealish, again, he created a lot of chances last year, the most for Villa in the Championship last season. He got 6 goals and 7 assists along the way. Tricky little player. I read somewhere that he drew the most fouls in the Championship last season, so VAR again might come into effect and help out with some penalty assists. Villa have decent openers too. It's just hard to tell which promoted clubs are going to just kick on early doors and settle well into the Premier League. But I have a feeling about Grealish. Bernardo Silva, I'm quite surprised with Silva's price, to be honest. Pep Guardiola labelled him the first man on the team sheet at one stage last season, as was his form. And he played 36 out of 38 games for Man City, so no rotation worries there with the Pep roulette. Just like the sound of a mid-price attacking midfielder and a starter at that, playing advanced and regularly for this Man City side. So, quality player. He got 7 goals and 8 assists last season, and his current high ownership of 30% indicates why a lot of people are thinking in the same way here. Okay, so moving on to the very final, most important category, the captaincy choice. So the captaincy pick for the 6 picks competition scores double points this season. It's your most prized and important pick, and no surprise that my 3 players shortlisted, which would be common in many people's minds early days: Salah, Sterling and Kane. Judging on last year's scores, not much between Salah, Sterling and Mane. Salah had 259 points, Sterling 234, Mane with 231. So the top 3 point scorers and prime captaincy options because of their high point ceiling. When they score big, they score big. When I say double digit hauls, this means 10 FPL points or more. So Sterling, he had 9 double digit hauls. That was 26% of the time he played. He scored in double digits for FPL points. Mane, 25% of the time he played, he scored double digits. And Salah was in there at 20%. He played a few more games than both Sterling and Mane, but he got 8 double-digit hauls last season. Kane, he was absent through injury for a huge chunk of last year and was a little bit off his his usual best in FPL. Still managed 5 hauls, and that comes in at 18% of his starts. So these are all players that should be considered because of that high point ceiling, as I said. My early pick, because of Liverpool's fixtures and that he's back from the African Cup of Nations 5 weeks early to rest up before the start of pre-season and the season itself. He's home to Norwich in opening fixture at home. Cost 12.5 million. He's not cheap, but Mo Salah is my, not to be locked in yet, captaincy choice for game week 1 and probably game week 2 and 3 also. So, as the old FNY's FPL statement goes, if you have Mo Salah in your team and you paid 12.5 million for him and you're not captaining him at home to Norwich, then you're playing the game wrong. Don't get me wrong, at the moment there's a lot more information that we need to acquire and assimilate as the weeks go by. Most importantly is those pre-season games where we can get an eye on a few players, check on fitness levels, and look at formations and tactics that new managers especially are kind of trying to formulate there. Gives us an indication as to how a team may or may not set up as the start of the season kicks off August 9th. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be back with another video in a couple of weeks. It's ever changing, this kind of pre-season, pre-transfer window closing. It's very hard to know what's going on. There's going to be a lot of transfers, a lot of shuffling, ebbs and flows. So I'll try and put another draft video together in a week's time, and it'll be interesting to compare to these ones and see how all of my picks have changed drastically. Anyway, for the moment, if you like these videos and you're interested in competing in the contest from game week 1 and onwards, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'd like to hear you in the comment section. Who have you got your eye on in terms of these categories for the opening game weeks? Who do you like? Who do you not like? Where are the no-go areas? Who is your captain's choice? Who's going to be your captain for the first few weeks? Like you got to have 2 premium players in there, at least 2 anyway, that you're going to rotate for game weeks 1 and 2, 3, 4, etc. It's good to have captaincy options. Maybe not too many, because you want to spread that wealth around evenly in your team. But there's different ways, many ways to skin a cat, as people say. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm looking forward to the new season. I can't wait for it already. You can hit me up on Twitter at FPL Crypto. Otherwise, I'll see you all soon. Take care.